was my passion. I don't think I'd change anything because I showed the perseverance. I think that's why a lot of the great fans follow my career is like, because I stayed at it and I stayed fighting and I believed that I could win. And everyone told me I couldn't. A lot of people around me said it's impossible to do this. Get myself in history books. And people know me for beating Ronnie Coleman or being the first guy to lose it and come back and win it in 2009, right? Probably one of my best looks ever. People aren't talking about as many of the second places as the victories, right? But I mean, a lot of people don't even probably know I was second 6 times at the Mr. Olympia, or I was second to last in my first. We all start off somewhere.
Yeah, but the interesting part is that, do you feel like one of those 6 times, do you feel like you lost or the other guy won?
My mom thought I should have won every My mom thought I should have won every show.
Yeah, for sure. I have another question, Jay. When you turned pro, and when you kind of was climbing the ladder to make your name and winning shows, how did you, earn your living?
I mean, I did a lot of things. I was working golf course maintenance. I was working as a cook, believe it or not. I was doing heating, air conditioning, and I was one of the fortunate ones that got sponsored. Joe Weider, who was really the godfather of bodybuilding, he brought Schwarzenegger over. He offered me a contract when I was really young, and he moved me to California, and it was just a huge opportunity. But I was a broke bodybuilder. I made as much money as I could to afford my chicken breast, afford my gas to go to the gym. Luckily, I had free gym memberships because I was a big deal in the area I grew up in. But I didn't have anything fancy. I rented an apartment. I had to earn my way. And I think that's, if I look back at my career, people would expect me to say when I was winning and on top and being the most successful were probably the greatest times. But I'll be honest, the struggles up were the best times for me. Because I was hungry and I was fighting for something, and when I got to the Mr. Olympia and I actually won and I was on top, I was like, okay, I looked around and I said, this is it? Like, I've expected more, and that's just my mindset of me being an overachiever.
Yeah.
And I said, there's gotta be bigger things than this, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be truthful, like winning the Olympia is like the pinnacle of my career, but to be able to now do what I do, and people use me as like a role model and say, wow, if I could have somewhat success that he's had, like that's winning even more to me. Like after you win all the titles and everything else, it's pretty cool to look at the Sandow trophies at my house and be able to look at my walls, and I display everything really nice.
Yeah.
But man, like being able to influence people in a positive way is really cool for me.
I have another question where there's a topic where like a lot of former Mr. Olympians talk about. Compare your era with the older generation, talking about the current guys competing in Olympia. And many questions are asked about how come people are not as good as they were for like in the 2000s and 90s and 80s. What's your opinion on that?
It's really hard to say because you have such a good group of guys. I mean, everyone competing. I don't want to be one of these guys that looks back and says, well, we were way better than these guys. There's, like I said, a lot of variables change, but I think that
like marketing themselves to get to the top compared to you guys. You had to, because you had your contract, you can just focus on that goal. So maybe that's one of the aspects of that also.
I truly believe that when you talk about the golden years of bodybuilding, you say it's like the 90s or whatever, I think that's the time bodybuilding was the most financially rewarding solely for the bodybuilders. But remember now, you're talking about the men's open bodybuilding. You got men's physique, you got classics, so we're not even discussing that, where there's a lot of great bodies. the Mr. Olympia has now branched out. So now there's a Mr. Olympia physique competitor. There's a Mr. Olympia classic physique. The title is not strictly on one thing, and that's the Mr. Olympia Men's Open, right? So it's really kind of broadened up. So there's not as much focus on that one thing. So the show has kind of lost its, I think it's kind of lost it a little bit as far as like, okay, this is the prestige of the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. Get it wider and something.
I mean, there's a lot more people. It's like saying you're an IFBB pro. There's so many pro cards now. It's kind of doesn't have the prestige that it once had.
Yeah. Question on that. Do you think that's right or wrong?
Aspect of what we do. I'm always positive about things.
Another question. When you stopped competing, did you feel... we have a saying in Sweden, det blir måndag, it's Monday. After the competition, nobody was calling you. Did you have that feeling?
I was ready to retire when I stepped away. You know, I came back in 2013 was my last show, so it was 6 years ago. And